as soon as I grab my stuff. Okay, so Monday. Today would have been schedules, languages, and personal learning. But we missed Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. So, territory Thursday. It's garden plan and weather for check frost dates is what I wrote as a note. And then sciences with pH levels. Jeff said that there's a place nearby that does like $10, and then you bring the dirt in or whatever, and they'll check it. Experiments was do-it-yourself compost. So we were trying to get something going for compost. I did get some banana peels. And I'm saving eggs and the cartons for starting the seeds. And we've got a ton of seeds. I even actually got a new container, a little thing. I don't even know what that symbol means, but whatever. To put plants in. And then, oh, it's chilly out here. I guess today's St. Patrick's Day. Oh, something like that. So I went ahead and started. Hold on, let me turn this around. Okay, I already started the beds. So they're already taking out all the weeds and stuff, and I've gone pretty much the entirety of the house at this point. I also needed to see what like the sun lines were. This side's probably going to have the most like water plants. I need to go back inside. My skirt is entirely too short for this wind. But yeah, I'm probably going to move that over too. And then I've also, one really cool thing, I have super cool neighbors, and they seen me out here the other day digging up the weeds and stuff, and they asked if, basically what it was they're doing. And they have like the most awesomest like yard. And I don't think I'm as into it as they are, but I said that I was going to be doing food and stuff, for the Victory Garden, and they were like, oh yeah, we're doing a bunch of stuff and we're taking some stuff down. And I was like, well, whatever you're willing to get rid of, I'm willing to take. So that's pretty much anybody. So I went ahead there. They came over, they said, okay, yeah. And then like a few minutes later, I thought that they were like me, like later in the week or whatever. But a few minutes later, they came back and they gave me rose bushes. So I have 4 rose bushes now. I'm hoping that this location is a good spot for them because they're supposed to get 6 to 8 hours of sun. And it is, what time is it? It's 11 o'clock. And because the sun changes positions for the different seasons, I just want to make sure that I'm placing them in the right spot. But that's what it is. And then I'm going to be doing a bunch of like landscaping stuff because I want to tear some of that stuff out and make it like, I don't know, more of like a sitting area. And then I've got all back here too and around the other side. The other side has like all the equipment and stuff, so I don't know how I feel about that. But I was thinking about like This is all moss all through here. And I want to kind of like landscape it a little bit so this way I can have like, you know, Jeff and I can have a sitting area like around in the back here for the fireplace. And I don't know, I was just like thinking of landscaping this a little bit. He wants to do something with the grass, and I just want to garden like everything. So there's it. I did, however, put this together. It's an old pot that I had in a vase, and so what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the spices all around the outside of it, and then we'll put flowers in the middle, and that way they're all separated and stuff. Trying to think. I'm probably going to have my like salad mix stuff right here. In the back will be like the salsa and stuff, like the onions and the peppers and the tomatoes. And then this will be like salad microgreens, spinach, kale, carrots, sunflower, carrots, turnips. I'm trying to think what else. Broccoli, cauliflower, squash, watermelon, cantaloupe. Yeah, all that's going right here. I don't know how well it's gonna last, but it is what it is. So, yeah, of course. Now that I'm streaming live, I have to go bathroom. Figures. So I have that all done. Jeff helped me a lot with that too.
I finally fixed it.
Oh, good.
I had to disconnect my webcam from the adapter down here into the stuff, so it's good.
Oh, maybe it just got jarred one at a time, so you moved it?
I don't know, it went quit last night, and this morning started up again, so I resolved it now.
Oh, that's good. But I thought, okay. Yeah, it is still a little chilly. Like that wind, if it wasn't for that wind, it'd be alright.
Yeah. Well, I understand that.
Come on, lamp.
And I know how you are, how sensitive you are to the temperature. No.
Yeah, I'm like weird when it comes to temperatures. Alright. Okay, so I wanted to do that stream outside today, but that didn't work out very well. Oof. So I cut my hair and it looks worse than it did before I cut it. And I cut crooked. It's looking more like a wolf cut at this point. It was so much longer. Anyway, I miss my long hair. I miss my really, really long hair. Okay. So, I know I'm kind of backtracking and everything from last week, but this is, I'm touching base from Thursday, so getting caught up. Alright, so as I told you guys what we have already done, we've already weed-eated the beds. I'm going to be pouring the old coffee. I'm making like a blender mixture of eggshells, banana peels, coffee, and I think it was like paper, some other stuff. Anyways, so I'm gonna make a compost of my own to start with, but there's also some places that you guys can check out. Like, you know, I try to do it myself as much as possible, start from zero or negative, and work, you know, build it up. So Jeff was talking about like the city where we live is and I don't know if this is something that is available in your area, but they do have mulch and compost. I don't know if they have compost, but I know they have mulch. And so I can't guarantee that it's going to be good mulch, but it's free. So, um, I kind of wish that they had like a mini wood chipper for like sticks and stuff. That way you can make, anyway. Um, like how like a paper shredder works, right? Like have it to where it's like a paper shredder. Still dangerous. Anyways, so I do have all of these seeds, like I've been saying for years that I'm going to plant them, but now I have the ability to. And I don't know if you guys remember or not, but I also talked about the Farmer's Almanac is another option for y'all, for those of you who want to start growing anything. Or want to know anything about the moon or the phases or like the weather. The Farmer's Almanac seems to be like the place to be. So, one of the things that I have talked about on here, and I think I've even shown it on here before, was that they have a garden planner, and it shows like companion plants. Like what I mean by that is like when you're planting something and you're not sure if it's going to grow, because some plants don't grow well next to each other. They actually like damage each other, or kill each other off. And flavors will also transfer from plant to plant in the ground. So just be aware of that. And so one of the things that the Farmer's Almanac website has is, like I said, the garden plan. And I'm going to show you. I don't have it on like screen share right now because this is a newer computer. But this is the Farmer's Almanac website, and I have it. I don't know if you guys can see it or not. There's like a listing on the side where you can type in whatever plant that you're looking to plant, and it does show companions next to each other. So when you're picking and choosing from here, you can just like click and drop it. Like how I have a cantaloupes right here. I don't know if you guys can see that or not, but you just click and drop it in. See? And they have a really big list of like stuff. So like a long list of vegetables and fruits and trees and all kinds of stuff. Okay, so this one I'm going to put separate because it's a chili pepper plant, and those have to be put in a pot, not in the ground. Some pepper plants, it's my understanding that if you plant them in the ground, that ground is now officially tainted for like a certain amount of years, so you can't plant anything there. So yeah, be aware of that. So you can pick and choose. It does give you an option to like choose size wise. Like see how it has like feet. I'm choosing to do 1 foot per item unless it's a larger item like squash, because squash will like flower out. Like it's going to need a lot of ground coverage. So the squash, the zucchini, and the cucumber, the cucumber is going to need something to grow up on. So these 3 items are best made in a mound, which is different than what I'm doing this year. This year I'm trying something just because of availability. Same thing with the watermelon and the cantaloupe. They're going to need a lot of water. So I'm going to be planting them over by where the water spout comes down from the house. And then doing a slight block on the water. So this way there's, the ground is pretty much moist up in the front yard anyways. As you guys seen, there's a lot of shade. So it's either there or the front yard. And I'll be honest with you, like if I take the side yard, it's going to take up a good portion of the side yard. So I have to figure placement out of the way for Jeff to do the yard, and make sure it doesn't get in his way. So I'm not sure if I'm going to be putting the watermelon and cantaloupe on the side over by the water spout or in front right by the water spout. But I feel like if I did take those two plants over there where the equipment is, it's not going to be in so much of the way as it would be if it was in the front where, that's where most of the yard is that we do. We don't really do much in the side yard. And there's a lot of like the hot water heater and the air conditioning unit and stuff like that is all on this side of the house. So, and they're pretty big units. So I also don't want to interfere with anybody who has to do work on that. I do know that a lot of people, they plant plants around equipment, and I know as a person who has had to go work on stuff like that or get to it, it's annoying as fuck. So I'm going to try to keep that area clear and the entryway to underneath the house clear. So I don't really have a lot of plants on this one corner here for this mapping. And then this blank spot right here is the front porch. And I have to shrink this down, but right here is the side porch. So this is my layout for my garden plan for this year so far. This imagery does not include all of the seeds that I have. It's just a starting point. So, yeah, but, and it'll save it, but I'm on the free trial right now. It only gives you 7 days. You can print it out before your 7-day trial is over. I can't remember how much it is per month or per year. But if you have the finances to do it, that's all fine and great. It will also give you a plant list. As you can see, I put all of my plants in the imagery first for the plan. And it pulls over the plant listing in the second page. And it gives you the name of the varieties and how many there are, when to plant them, like when to start them indoors, when to plant them outside, and when to harvest. I really like this feature in this because of the fact that like each one of these plants, for the most part, is going to have their own little life cycle. So having that available is always helpful. For the most part, yes, I'm going to be planting in April. There are some seeds that I'm going to go ahead and start. But as you can tell, other than onions, because they're a cold weather plant, any cold weather plant can be planted this month. But as far as any other plant, you're going to want to wait till after the last frost, which is usually around tax time, which is April 15th. As you can see, most of these in the green are April, some are in May. And this does go for where you're at. It doesn't do it for like a general census. It's for your location specifically. So, like right here, it's saying not even to plant the peppers until May, but I don't think that's right. Either way, I'm going to plant them in April. So, Sweet Williams I can plant now, which I already have. I'm thinking about planting these in between some of where I'm going to be having the vegetable seeds, because I want pollinators to come to where they're at. So, but this is a good starting point. It's not bad. I don't know how many items that is. It also does give you a parts list if you're looking to purchase, like, say, raised beds, or if you need tools or whatever. You can make notes for your plan. I haven't looked at this. Overview, garden planner, journal, which Oh, that's kind of cool. I never knew this. It gives you the date, how much precipitation, what temperature the highs and lows are. Tomorrow's my birthday. I'll be 43. This is my birthday month. So, I don't know what this is. Planted on Monday. Oh, well, I guess you could really get into it. This would be really good for like people who are like super into jogging or logging all of your information. That's pretty cool. So I could add a note. What's Oh, I thought it said trending. It says tending. Photos. Cool. You can keep track of your little garden thing. This would be great for like community gardens. Or like for your, even if like you're doing homesteading, this is amazing if you're homesteading. Or if even you're just starting out. I'm not sponsored by them, by the way. They do have their own little videos and stuff, which are super cute. This dude, I guess, does them all. So, be cool to like, I don't know. I've talked about like doing like sponsorship with them, but whatever. So, I doubt they'll sponsor me. Don't anybody else sponsor me. Journal, garden planner, overview. What's the overview? Track your garden, weather. Oh, cool. Does the weather too. Articles, support, and then my account. My free trial ends on the March 22nd, which is in 5 days. That sucks. Oh well. So my herbs will be in their own little container thing. And then, oh yeah, I have to write that. So like sage. I have sage will be in a plant or thing. Thyme, I think, is another one. I would like to get rosemary and mint also. So thyme. Thyme, sage. I'm trying to remember. Cilantro, I think, was another one. I don't know why I'm even growing that. I never eat it. Cilantro. And then there was something else. Let's just say rosemary because I would like to get rosemary anyways. I love the way they smell. They actually end up becoming like a really big fluffy bush. Well, not fluffy, but just spiky. We're just gonna run with that. So, okay. You okay, babe?
Yeah. I'm trying to figure out something.
Okay. So, like I said, the compost part of it, I'm gonna try to find like out what's going on with the city. And then what is the final frost date for North Carolina? Final frost date. Okay, this is like got a bunch of ads, so it's taking forever. All right, so on average, between Hickory and Statesville is somewhere between the 31st of March and April 16th. It says Catawba is March 24th, but I don't know, I might get lucky. Get stuck right there in that little air pocket of warmth. So anyway, sometimes between now and April 16th is the last frost date. I want to run with April 16th just because that's how I round out things. So, by the way, Easter is on 420 this year, so have fun finding all those little nuggets of goodies in your little Easter eggs that are randomly hidden around everywhere. Jeff said that for checking pH balances in the soil, free. I'm looking up the soil testing by state. Free or low cost. North Carolina offers free soil testing when submitted between April 1st and the end of November. And at the North Carolina Cooperative Extension, okay, so it says to pick random samples from around your yard, all of the areas, and put them into the one container and send it off. But I'm thinking, okay, so Jeff said that there was free soil testing at, what was that, Southern States? I think it was Southern States. I don't know. I had to find out more about that. I guess they send it to the state. I don't think it'd be much different if we send it to the state. No, I'll look more into that. So free kits, question mark. All right. So next time we go to Southern States, I'll ask them. I think next week that there is the chicken sale. So one of the things that I had to find out was what plants that I could put in the shade too. Since this is garden vegetables, not just like regular plants, I have to make sure that if it's like fruit bearing or like if it actually creates something, that it has a lot of sunlight. But a lot of plants, not a lot, but some plants don't mind being in the shade. So the only problem that I have is even though there's still sunlight around in the front yard, the like first 2 feet of the front of the house are pretty shaded all day long. So I'm not sure how well this is gonna do. I didn't get strawberries. I just realized that there's too many ads on these freaking pages. I was trying to find one that showed like this one said that there was 33 shade tolerance. See, I also like perennials too, where I can plant it and then just basically be done with it. Baby, you okay?
Yeah.
I think he's trying to find this. So we found it to go away with it. I'm wearing green, y'all. So, okay, so do-it-yourself compost. Like I said, you can start with paper as long as it doesn't have any waxy film on it. Try to keep it as the least amount of ink as possible, but shit happens. You can get like a bucket, like one of those 5-gallon buckets with a lid, and just start dumping stuff in there. Or one of the things that we were looking at yesterday was, those the plastic dresser drawers that have like 3 or 4 drawers in them? You can get those and do a layer box. So, a compost box, but like it's in layers. So you would start with a layer of sticks or branches, twigs, whatever. Helps to create pockets in the compost and helps speed up the composting process because the more oxygen, same thing in our bodies, the more oxygen you have, the higher the heat level is. So, like, our bodies oxygenize after a time. That's how we age. Um, and so, when you're adding oxygen to what is something that is already breaking down, it's like adding oxygen to a fire. So, it just helps it burn hotter, quicker, faster, whatever you want to call it. You want to add brown and green materials in the layers, like dried leaves or fresh long clippings. I personally would stay away from the long clippings unless they were already dried out. You know what I mean? Like, I would keep the long clippings separate for a little while, let them dry out, and then do it. But anyway, add bulking materials to trap air in the pile. Monitor moisture levels and turn if possible. So the drawers, what I was going to do is I was going to drill holes in the bottom of the drawers, but not the bottom drawer. You see what I'm saying? So this way the liquid can start dripping down into the next layer, have the solid materials at the top, the more softer, mushy materials are in the middle, and the liquid is at the bottom. In the middle, you can add earthworms that will help break down that composting. And you'll also have a worm farm, which you can utilize as a financial source. So it's $12 for a little bucket of like maybe like 10 or 15 worms. So, and the fatter and happier they are, the better they are for fishies. So, you can create a worm bin that way. That way the worms are constantly, getting nutrients. They're getting what they need. They're not dying. They're not starving. You're getting compost, and it's a money source. Not only for selling the compost, also if you really wanted to, but you could add food scraps like eggshells, like vegetable scraps, as long as they don't have seeds in them. You don't want to use anything with oil, no meats. Basically, if it came from the ground, it can go back in the ground. Wood. Just make sure that the wood doesn't have like special treatment, because that'll seep into your soil. Try not to use pesticides. Try not to use any chemicals, because remember, everything you're putting into that garden, you're eating. So, not like we're not eating a shit ton of chemicals as it is. I'm just saying you want to try to help out with whatever you can, right? You can use a trash can, pallets, wood, plastic. Try to stay away from black plastic because it seeps. All plastic seeps, but black plastic seeps a lot. What some people do is they get one of those big trash can bins with a lid on it, and they use like bungee cords across the top of it. And what you could do is you could put all your yard scrap in there, right? And if you have a pot of coffee that you didn't finish, pour that in there. If you have coffee grinds, you can pour that in there. Eggshells, banana peels, vegetable scraps, all that stuff, you can put that in there. And every once in a while, like maybe once a week, put it on its side and roll it around a little bit. And then put it back up. That's your compost. And the more you move that, the quicker it's going to break down. And the better compost that you're going to have for your garden. what I'm going to do is I'm going to, like I said, try to get it from the local city, like even if I could just get like a bucket. Um, and start mixing the dirt with the compost. Let it start to break down since we're still early yet. It's end of March, early April. We're not past the last freeze date. But if I start that now, by the time it gets to the freeze date, it will have already have started breaking down. Plus, it had a temperature change. So, if I add that into the dirt prior to planting, like I said, I'm going to be putting the fertilizer and the compost and stuff into the ground mixed up with the dirt, and then start watering it. So this way it doesn't burn the root base. It gets it down into the ground. And then that way when I do finally go put my seeds or my plants down into the soil, it's not going to burn it. It's going to be pre-ready. The bed's already going to be made, and it's going to be set for a good start foundation for a growing season. Now, mind you, that's not going to be for the whole growing season. You're going to have to keep adding. That's why I said to start it early, keep moving it, maybe once a week. If you've got kids, they'll help out. And like you can have it to where it's already started and then just continue to add to it as you go. The more you empty out beds, the more you mow your yard, the more you scraps you get from your kitchen and stuff, it's going to keep adding up. Maybe not as quickly as most people, but it's just Jeff and I here. So, anyway, and keeping it in the bin helps with not taking up space in your yard. You're not attracting animals to it. It keeps it enclosed. And then with the zip ties, or not zip ties, the pull ties, or bungee cords, it'll help keep it closed to keep pests and stuff out of it. So even if you do have food scraps in there, they're not going to get in there. So, paper, like newspapers, just not the waxy ones, not the shiny paper. It's just got to be regular, just regular paper. You use hay as a filler. Remember I was saying about you want to create gaps of oxygen. You could put hay in there and mix it in. Manure. I wouldn't use a whole lot of it because it's already going to be like really acidic and stuff and like high octane, but if you wanted to throw some manure in there, it'll help. Or you can just do it in a pile. Some people create compost bins, which is like an enclosed area in their yard. Okay. Then Friday was vehicles and maintenance, special events planning, and driver's ed, and emergency situations. So, as far as I know, that's it for the gardening part of it. We'll probably come back to that Thursday. And then, like I said, Friday, I haven't looked at any events in the area. I can't type for nothing. Events in the area: growing medicinal mushrooms Wednesday at 4 o'clock at the Catawba Mushroom Partners. It's $12 for that class. Embers and Elegance. That's $100. Candle making class with Love Square 153. Denim and Diamonds. Children's Advocacy and Protection Center fundraiser. Owl's Kid Adventure Club. Gamer Club. Yin Yoga and Intuitive Body Work. Girls' Night Out on the Rocks. Awesome Scavenger Hunt. Hickory Hoopla Hide and Seek Adventures. March Comedy Night at Bin 110 featuring Ben Jones. St. Patty's Charity Event. North Cub Championship. Lincolnton Scavenger Hunt. Boozy Bonsai Workshop. Jellyfish Terrarium Workshop. Candle Making Workshop. DIY Reservations. March Madness Themed Cookie Decorating Workshop with Sweet Little Social. $75. Good Lord. Things to do is expensive now. It's expensive to go outside. How about this? We go to free. Things to do for free. Tactical Power Playbook. AI Art Therapy Club. Social Media Class. Muffins with Mom. doTERRA Team Fun. Taxes and Retirement Seminar. Hey, there you go, baby. Art Academy at South Lakes Grand Opening. Carolina Pro Seminar. Marconics Becoming Sovereign free lecture event. Aviation Career Exploration. Self-defense seminar for realtors, because it's like that now. And flat repair clinic in Mooresville. Bunko at Hoptown. Niche programs for new construction with zero down. New construction perm loans. Epic networking. Karaoke Idol. Music bingo at Kilted Buffalo Langtree. Alignable coffee connections at the Summit Coffee Birkdale Landing. Permanent jewelry pop-up. Friday at 5 at Birkdale Village, and it's free. I don't know if y'all know what permanent jewelry is, but it's glass jewelry that is literally fused while it's on your hand. So, fused glass on your hand while you're sitting there. Permanent. You're never getting it off unless you break it. You better love that piece. That's all I gotta say. So yeah. All right, so that's the special events that are happening this week in the area. For driver's ed, I have not done this class officially yet. For those of you who do have it in your area, check it out online for like the DMV for your handbooks, or if you guys have like online learning as far as the driver's education. When COVID first hit, and the first class to have driver's ed online and get their license without ever having been behind a steering wheel has by far been the most mind-boggling thing for me in America. And I know it's pretty light, but it like, I don't know, I got old in that moment of like, how dare they? Like, kind of thing. Because how are you going to learn how to do something if you don't do it? You're operating a vehicle that is like thousands of pounds. So it's a weapon. And this is what I taught my kids too, that, it's a weapon that you could either kill yourself or kill somebody else or hurt somebody very badly. And it's not a toy. It's not your right to have it. It's a privilege to have it. So, you know, be careful. So, anyway, um, just being aware that's a weapon. It's not. It's like holding a gun. It's even actually worse. Um, because anyway. So, um, for driver's ed, like I said, I'm just gonna say to check out your local listings. I know for North Carolina, DMV. If you go to their website, it's going to ask you if you're headed there. It's going to try to get you to stay out of the DMV, to stay off the lines and everything. But a lot of the stuff that you can do at the DMV, you do online now. But as far as like going for your license, in North Carolina, okay, it's changed a couple of times in the past 5 years. When I first started getting my son ready to drive, it was already after COVID. He was during the 60 hours of log time. So I don't know if you guys were aware of during that period of time, but it was right as they were coming out of only doing online learning and they were starting to actually be behind the wheel again. So they did a thing where it was 60 hours of personal learning time because we had to wait till he was 18. So once you turn 18, if you don't have your license yet or you don't have a permit or whatever, you have to have at the time, you had to have a certain amount of hours. I don't know if that's still true. As far as my oldest daughter, she did not have to have a certain amount of hours. She just went in, took the test, and got her license. Some people, they could do that. Some people, they have to have a lot of training, a lot of practice time. I know for me, interstates were a fucking nightmare. I was absolutely terrified of the tractor trailer, still am to this day. And so it was hard for me to merge. It still is hard for me to merge. And so my oldest son, his issue was speed. My oldest daughter, her issue was the brakes. And then my youngest daughter, she doesn't have her license yet, but I'm pretty sure she'll be getting one soon. And she did really well when she did her driver training. So I'm sure she'll be just fine. And as far as Gavin, I would love to see him get into a vehicle and start getting comfortable with it. So this way he can, start to have that intrigue to understand like where the placement is for things. Best place to start is to just sit in a vehicle. Each one of the vehicles are going to be different, and especially old vehicles to new vehicles too. You're going to have different buttons, if it buttons at all. And then, nowadays it's all screens. So if you lose power to the vehicle, I never had to worry about my battery exploding before. But go electronics. So so newer vehicles, part of the newer education for driver's ed, you're going to have to add electronic vehicles, charging stations, for the charging stations, for those vehicles who are hybrid or need certain specific type of gas. I don't know about y'all, but I've been at the gas pumps lately, and sometimes the colors are not always the same. So don't go by the colors anymore. And you can't always go by the numbers because half the time numbers are switched around. And what vehicle are you driving? What kind of gas does it take? Because I know for vehicles older than 2001 can take that E85 gas, but are you sure you really want to put that in your vehicle? when I was younger, they used to say that putting Supreme in your vehicle every once in a while was a good idea because it was the highest freaking gas that there was, and supposedly it was supposed to clean out your engine. I don't know if that's true or not. But with the E85, yes, it's cheaper, but your gas mileage is also lower. So, and what does it do to your engine? Are you going to need a newer vehicle? I mean, the way that the vehicles are today, insurance companies are in bed with the manufacturers anyway, so have fun with that. Mechanics, I'm sorry, guys. And as far as like you and me, we're fucked. So all those vehicles that are sitting in the parking lots of every single dealership that you see is most likely going to end up going back to the dealership and made into an electronic vehicle. The reason for the wars right now is because of the fact that we're changing the way that we're doing things and we need a different source. And since that source is in the ground, of course, all the other sources are in the ground, right? But anyway. And I don't know if y'all seen, but China has a dark factory now. It has no people. And they're making cars in it. There is no lights. It's all machinery. They don't need us anymore. We've deleted ourselves. We have created our destroyer. So have fun with that. The beginning of hell is at the DMV, and the entrance at least. And then for teen drivers in our area, for North Carolina specifically in the United States, between 15 and 17 years old must go through a process called graduating license before receiving a full driver's privilege in North Carolina. If you do not get your license until you're 18, though, you are considered an adult and can go for, if I can find it now that I done clicked off of the shit that I was just on, I need to go back. Dang it. All right. I guess I was on that. I don't remember where I was at now. License and ID. Okay. For new adult drivers, okay, you still have to go through the computer test, and you'll have to go through a vision and driving test. Okay, so road sign recognition, required knowledge, vision, and driving test are all four of the things that you're going to have for your license. Also including that is a state ID and a government ID. So for those of you who have all of that, it'll be easier for you to just, like I said, like my daughter, she just walked in, took her IDs, took her social, and I think something else, birth certificate or something, and ended up getting it. Now, there are some changes that are happening at the DMV as far as like birth certificates or some kind of identification. They're not going to be able to take, they don't, like, DSS does this too. There's a certain identifier that they don't accept anymore. It might even be your social. I don't, or maybe it's not your social. Maybe it's a birth certificate. Because, okay, because of the changing of the birthright laws. So the changing of the birthright laws will now change the DMV laws also because of the requirement for ID or anything that has to do with IDs. I'm not sure what getting a real ID difference is comparatively to your own ID. So y'all might want to keep an eye on that. Also, you have to have in the state of North Carolina, you have to have liability insurance on your vehicle or on a vehicle or on yourself, like non-owner's insurance, which I have. I don't have a vehicle of my own, so I have to have non-owner's insurance if I want to drive somebody else's vehicle. When you go to get your license, you can actually start off by having a um, non-owner's insurance with your ID, your state ID, and your proof of whoever you are. Then you go to take the test and all this other stuff. So the test is fairly simple. It is basic knowledge questions. If you've read the thing at all, if you've read the workbook at all, you'll pass the test. Like there's not stupid questions in there. Sometimes there's like questions that might have multiple answers or something like that, but for the most part, it's fairly easy to get through. And the way I see it is that if I can get through this freaking test, anybody can. It might take a couple times, but so I suggest downloading the handbook. You can do some test questions that are like on the site, but they change them every year. And there's 4 different kinds of tests that they administer. So there's a different test every year, but there's also a different test for every person. I don't know if that makes any sense or not. But so you're not going to be able to cheat. I don't know how long that's been in effect for, but it is now. So, I'll be right back.